Conditional sentences, if clauses. Have you ever said, "If I have time, I will help you. If I were rich, I would travel the world"? These are called conditional sentences. They help us talk about real situations, possible situations, imaginary situations, and things that did not happen in the past. In today's lesson, you will learn all types of conditional sentences with easy explanations, formulas, examples, and exercises. Let's start today's lesson. What are conditional sentences? Conditional sentences describe a condition and its result. They usually have two parts. 1. If clause, condition. 2. Main clause, result. Example. If you study hard, you will pass the exam. Condition. If you study hard. Result. You will pass the exam. Important rule. You can place the if clause at the beginning or at the end. Examples. If it rains, we will stay at home. We will stay at home if it rains. If the sentence begins with if, use a comma. If the if clause comes second, do not use a comma. Types of conditional sentences. There are four main types. Zero conditional. First conditional. Second conditional. Third conditional. Now let's learn each one. 1. Zero conditional. Use. To talk about facts, scientific truths, and things that are always true. Formula. If plus present simple, present simple. Examples. If you heat water to 100 degrees Celsius, it boils. If you don't eat, you feel hungry. If the sun sets, it becomes dark. If you mix red and blue, you get purple. If people exercise regularly, they stay healthy. Dear students, zero conditional is used for universal truths and habits. 2. First conditional. Use. To talk about a real or possible future situation. Formula. If plus present simple, will plus base verb. Examples. If you study hard, you will pass the exam. If it rains, we will stay home. If she comes early, we will start the meeting. If I have enough money, I will buy a new phone. If you work honestly, you will succeed. Dear students, the condition is possible. The result may happen in the future. 3. Second conditional. Use. To talk about imaginary or unlikely situations in the present or future. Formula. If plus past simple, would plus base verb. Examples. If I were rich, I would travel around the world. If I had a car, I would drive to school. If she knew French, she would work in Paris. If we lived near the beach, we would swim every day. If I were you, I would accept the job. 4. Third conditional. Use. To talk about situations that did not happen in the past and their imagined results. Formula. If plus past perfect, would have plus past participle. Examples. If I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam. If they had left earlier, they would have caught the train. If she had called me, I would have helped her. If we had saved money, we would have bought a house. If he had driven carefully, he would not have had an accident. Dear students, this condition is impossible to change because the past is already over. Comparison. Zero conditional. Fact. Example. If you freeze water, it becomes ice. First conditional. Real future possible result. Example. If you call me, I will answer. Second conditional. Imaginary present/future imaginary result. Example. If I were a bird, I would fly. Third conditional. Imaginary past result. Example. If she had studied, she would have passed. Common mistakes. Wrong. If I will see him, I will tell him. Correct. If I see him, I will tell him. Wrong. If I was you, I would apologize. Better. If I were you, I would apologize. Dear viewers, today we learned what conditional sentences are, the structure of an if clause, zero conditional, first conditional, second conditional, third conditional, important grammar rules, common mistakes, exercises in speaking practice. Excellent work! You have successfully learned all 4 types of conditional sentences. Practice making your own if sentences every day, and your English will become more natural and fluent.